here to talk to you about my pregnancy stories with both of my kids. If you're a new mom out there, or maybe you're not, I'm just here to tell my story, and hopefully it encourages you and helps you throughout your pregnancy. You know, not everybody's pregnancy is the same, but I think that sharing my story with both of my kids, whenever I was younger, when I first got pregnant, I would watch videos like this, and I would always want to know other people's experiences. So hopefully this helps you. Let's get to it. Okay, so baby number one, Corinna Ann Thompson. I got pregnant with Corinna Ann when I was 16 years old. Yes, 16. I was young. I started very early. I found out whenever I was probably about 3 or 4 weeks along. I started experiencing some pretty severe cramping whenever I was about 6 or 7 weeks. Didn't know what the heck was going on with my body. Didn't know anything about pregnancy, to be honest with you, because, you know, I was only 16. And turned out that was actually just normal. But I freaked out about it, and when I went for my checkup, I had been so nauseous and throwing up like literally every second of every day for like 3 months straight. It was awful. But every single time that I went through it, I just told myself, you know, this is going to be worth it in the end. And I went to the doctor, and they were going to get my blood to check me, see how everything was going, my iron, because I was so weak. I could not stand it. I was so skinny, and when they checked my weight, I was actually losing weight. So I had to do something with that. So they had to give me some type of medication. They gave me like probably 10 different kind of medication to try for my throwing up, my nausea. So none of it worked. It would work for like 2 or 3 days, and then it would stop working, and then I was back puking my brains out. And it was literally everything I ate, everything. Even when I drunk stuff, I was puking. And it sucked. So finally, about 15 weeks into my pregnancy, I was like, look, you're going to have to give me something that's going to actually work, because I'm dying over here. I cannot gain any weight. I'm puking every single 5 seconds. So they gave me some Zofran. And nowadays, they won't give you that until you're 15 weeks and above, just because of the cleft lip, I think that is. It may be different now, but that's what, you know, that was their policy then. So I started taking that, and that helped me so much. I could finally eat, and let me tell you, I ate everything. Everything. I would even lay in my bed in the middle of the night, just like laying with pretzels and Cheez-Its in my bed with me. And I would wake up in the middle of the night and just start eating. Like just munching and munching and munching and munching. And I remember my favorite thing to eat was spinach pizza from Cece's. And I hated that before I was pregnant. And I would go to Cece's like all the time and eat spinach pizza. So I gained 50 pounds with that, which probably was not a bad thing because I needed it. So I think it was 2 days. Yeah, 2 days before her actual due date, I started getting a lot of cramps. Not like bad cramps, but like I had my bloody show the morning before, and I didn't really know what that was exactly, but I remember sitting in the bathtub and feeling like something was going to drop out of me like any second. That much pressure down there, it was was crazy. So I decided to go to the hospital and get checked out. I had went to the hospital like 50,000 times throughout my entire pregnancy because one, I did not know what the hell was going on with my body. I mean, I knew I was pregnant, but I didn't know the signs. I didn't know like every other cramp or pressure or anything. I just thought something was going on, and I went to the hospital about 50,000 times. So I went to the hospital this time, and I was actually having contractions on the dot. They were not painful. I'm going to be honest with you, they were not painful for me, which was odd because I was thinking it was going to be like this most god-awful feeling in the world because of all the stories that I was told and saw and read up on. But the contractions weren't even that bad. I think the worst part for me was getting my IV because I'm not a needle person. Got my IV. But, you know, when you're that exhausted and you're that pregnant, you really don't care. Bailey, hush. Sorry. My dog over there acting crazy. And my contractions got more frequent, and my body was just kind of, I was hurting, but not a hurt that was unbearable. And so they asked me if I wanted the epidural, and I said yes. I was terrified of that. Terrified of the epidural because of the things I've seen and people told me things. So I did get the epidural. I did not feel a thing. I was kind of all drugged up, but I was just like, give it to me. And I just leaned over and they gave it to me, and I didn't feel a thing. But the epidural did not really work for me. I mean, it worked for a couple hours, but right when it came to giving birth, I felt everything. Everything. And honestly, I feel like I blacked out all the pain. And I pushed for about a good 2 hours. And I remember heart overflowing with every ounce of love that you have inside of your veins. And I was just over the moon. And so that is my first child's story. Now let's do my second one. Let me tell you about my second little munchkin. So, Mr. Kentley Michael, my little boy, I got pregnant. I didn't know. I had been taking pregnancy tests after pregnancy tests because I was trying for him. Could not get a positive to save my freaking life, and it was driving me nuts. If any of you been out there that's been trying to have a baby and you keep getting a negative and a negative and a negative, it just drives you nuts. It just brings you down, and that's exactly what happened to me. Bailey, stop pouncing. Calm down. Sorry, my dog is like over there hyperventilating because I'm not giving her attention. But anyways, what the hell was I just saying? Brain fart. I hate it when that happens. Okay, yeah. Shit. But yeah, okay, so we're talking about pregnancy tests. So I kept getting negatives and negatives, and finally about 5 or 6 weeks, I finally got a positive. And I was so freaking excited. So excited. And I was praying and hoping for a boy, but I would have been okay with either one because I just want my babies to be healthy, and that's all that matters. But I never had any morning sickness. I was never sick with him, except maybe one time. I was sick one time for about 24 hours, and it was gone the rest of the time. But I was super exhausted with him. I don't think I'd ever been as tired as I was with him. And I feel like I didn't show as fast with him, but I think it's just because my body had changed since my first pregnancy. I wasn't as small whenever I got pregnant with him. So it took it a little bit longer for me to actually start showing with him. But every ultrasound, well, I was getting a little bit terrified around like 30 weeks because I had only gained like 10 pounds my entire pregnancy, which scared the life out of me because I felt like I should at least be gaining more than that because of, you know, the baby and the placenta and all that stuff. It felt like something was wrong and I couldn't gain as much weight as I did with Corinna. So I told my OBGYN, I was like, look, I feel like something's wrong. I think we need to at least check him out because the doctor that I went to would only give you like 2 ultrasounds. And that's to find out you're pregnant in pounds this entire time. And it's already 8 months along. So we checked the baby out and he was perfect. He was perfect. But it's always good to go with your instincts just to make sure anyways that mommy instincts will always be there as soon as you're pregnant. But I remember after that, I was super excited. I just got his room done. I love decorating his room, y'all. And I can't really think of a specific thing that I liked to eat whenever I was pregnant with him. I didn't really have any aches. I didn't really go to the hospital as much as I did with Corinna. I think I went for, you know, pretty decent reasons. I had a lot of Braxton Hicks, which was very confusing to figure out, you know, because they would sometimes feel like actual contractions. So the day I was going in, when I was actually having real contractions, and they were very strong and they hurt really bad, the hospital that I went to, which I will never go back again, they sent me home, and it was about midnight when they sent me home. About 5 o'clock that next morning, or that same morning, I was laying in my bed, and I remember feeling this tightness in my belly and around my back and down my legs, and it just pulsed like this, if that makes any sense. Just pulse, constant pulsing, and it was like, I think every 3 to 4 minutes it would do it, and it would last like, I want to say 20 seconds, and it really, really was, oh God. So I was like, okay, we got to go to the damn hospital. We got to go now. So we packed up, we went, and every single bump in the car was about to send me flying out the door because it was killing me. I just remember yelling at my husband and telling him, slow down, you're killing me, oh my God. And he was like, well, we got to hurry up and get there if you're in that much pain. I was like, well, you're going to make me give back to this baby now in this car. If you don't slow down and stop hitting every damn bump in the road. I just remember going off. It was, oh my gosh. I had never experienced that with my first. And my second, oh my God, the pain was unbearable. I remember getting out of the car and barely making it inside. Had to get in the wheelchair, and they rolled me back, and they were checking my contractions, and they were actual contractions, but they weren't like, I don't know. They have like this specific, let me get back to this baby now in this car. If you don't slow down and stop hitting every damn bump in the road. I just remember going off. It was, oh my gosh. I had never experienced that with my first. And my second, oh my God, the pain was unbearable. I remember getting out of the car and barely making it inside. Had to get in the wheelchair, and they rolled me back, and they were checking my contractions, and they were actual contractions, but they weren't like, I don't know. They have like this specific thing where you have to be so many minutes apart, I guess. I don't know. I don't understand. This is why I will never go back to this hospital. But I was in there, and I was in so much pain, and she even saw me. I was in so much pain, I was puking. I mean, the pain was unbearable. I was yelling, screaming in pain. And this lady comes in there and checks me and says, well, you're still at a 2, and I really think that this is just a UTI. Oh, for real? A UTI? Oh, for real? I remember just the blood boiling inside of me. And I just knew that if she was going to say that she was going to send me home, I was going to jump out of the bed and like tackle her ass like a football player. And then she came back about 10 minutes later, and she checked me, and I was 2, literally a 5. So she's like, oh my God, you're dilated 205. We need to get you in a room now. You're having this baby. I was like, oh, no shit, dumbass. So I get inside the room and they give me my IV. I get my epidural. It helped. The same thing happened like how it happened with my first one. It helped for a couple of hours and then it wore off. I was in so much pain while pushing this child out. I remember yelling, I can't do this! And just yelling it and just feeling like I was going to pass out. I was in so much pain. And then after 3 pushes, it only took me like 4 or 5 minutes to push this baby out. 3 pushes, and that baby came flying out. It took me 5 minutes to push that baby out, which is totally different from my first child. And again, as soon as he came into my arms, everything left. The pain, the nausea, the entire pregnancy, where I just felt like my body was just going crazy, hormonal. Everything just left my mind. And then after that, it just continues to leave your mind. And just feeling like I was going to pass out. I was in so much pain. And then after 3 pushes, it only took me like 4 or 5 minutes to push this baby out. 3 pushes, and that baby came flying out. It took me 5 minutes to push that baby out, which is totally different from my first child. And again, as soon as he came into my arms, everything left. The pain, the nausea, the entire pregnancy, where I just felt like my body was just going crazy, hormonal. Everything just left my mind. And then after that, it just continues to leave your mind. And the love just overflows inside of you. Like, I can't even explain. If you're watching and you're a mom, you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean. And if you're new to this whole mom thing, you're pregnant right now, you will get it. You will understand as soon as your child hits your chest. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So, I know this was long and maybe a little bit here and there and not really very detailed. I'm new to this and I'm excited to keep on sharing stories with you and sharing my life and maybe even some tips. But if I can give you any tip from this, it's to just take one step at a time through this pregnancy if you're pregnant right now. Take one step at a time and keep pushing and tell yourself that it's all going to be worth it, because let me tell you, I did the same thing. I told myself through everything, every little bitty thing, every pain, everything, it's going to be worth it. All of it will be worth it. Everything. So I hope this encourages you. I hope it helps you. I hope I have not scared the living poo out of you. But it's birth. It's real. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. That's just who I am. So I hope that you continue watching. If you like this, if it helps you and encourages you, like, hit the little bell thing on the side and the subscribe button. Comment below if you are pregnant, or if you're just a new mom, or maybe you've been a mom for years. I mean, comment below, talk to me. I'm going to get off here because my dog is having a panic attack. Like you guys have probably heard this entire 17 and 50 seconds that I've been recording, and it's about to drive me shit back crazy. So, thank you guys. Bye!